Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I spent most of my time ringing this down, this outer ring, so that this would sit flat. This ring right here is not touching this, because this ring sits inside this area here. So I'm going to take the 3-inch belt sander and I'm going to knock this down a little bit until it starts cutting into the blue on the outside. Now this little corner here, that's actually getting cut. Some of that could be from the way I'm holding it. But I'm going to lower this center part down. This 3-inch Craftsman belt sander, 3-inch by 21-inch. I got this because I wanted to make a circular staircase. And I had no way to trim down a piece of wood. Yeah, I didn't have any of this stuff. There were none of these tools in existence at the time. Not the grinder, not the drills, not the saws, nothing. So I was at Sears and they had the returned items table where people had brought back things that they thought didn't work, or didn't meet their needs, or some other reason. And I saw that sitting there and I thought, I can use that to plane off a board. Now, I had never really tuned up a hand plane before. I was still living in the world of power tools. And I thought that was the only way to really get something done. And I was looking at the problem from the standpoint of my table saw, which is not here anymore. It's over at Ryan's house. My table saw wasn't big enough to cut a 13-inch wide slab thinner. And my steps were 13 inches wide by 24 inches long. And I needed to have them planed off because they were glued up out of oak pieces from pallets. So they were 2x4s glued edge to edge. And then I wanted to thin them down, flatten them out, because the pallet boards were cut close to size, but they weren't smooth. So I bought this sander, which unfortunately didn't work. I mean, it would, but it would take eons to plane down 13 steps, both sides, about a 1/4 inch per side. So I said, okay, this is not functional. That's when I bought the planer. But that's another story. And we're going to use this to grind off this base. We're going to take out that center part and take it down as flat as we can. I want to go down until I start seeing the blue disappear off of this ring. Now this has got a nice flat platen on it. It will cut fairly flat, but I'll still have to manage it because if I rock it, it'll take the edges off. .50 grit sandpaper on there. It's going to cut fast. And you can see that it's working pretty quickly. I'm cutting out to the edge on this side. I want to make sure it stay on this side a little bit more. Absolutely flat. Now, I could take all of this down until all the blue is marked, but I don't need to. All I need to do is take it down flat. As long as I have support around the outside edge, like that spot there and this spot here, it's going to be strong enough that this won't rock. And that's what I'm looking for. A little bit more on this edge right here, and I'll be done. Okay, there's a point where you have to say, all right, good enough, and I've reached it. Now if this was a bearing, I'd leave those spots because I'd want to have grease get into them. But since this isn't a bearing, I don't need to worry about that. I just want to make sure that this has got plenty of support and doesn't wobble. That's got it. Now, as Louis mentioned, I need a bushing. This hole is too big for this 1/2-inch bolt. I don't want to have this going on. 625. That's 5/8. Gives me a 16th on the side. Because this bolt is a 1/2 inch. That washer didn't come with the vise. When I removed material from this, I had to make up for the material I removed. Otherwise, this bolt might stick out the bottom and cause me a problem. No, we're good. Now I'll have to do this all over again after I paint it because, of course, the paint is going to add thickness to things.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.